Hello there, and welcome. It's good to be spending this time with you today. Have you ever found yourself looking out at the world, maybe at a beautiful sunset, or just sitting quietly in your favorite chair, and a big question pops into your mind? Something like, what's it all about? Or what's my purpose now? Or even just a general feeling of unease about the big picture of life. If you have, you're certainly not alone. These kinds of thoughts and feelings, often called existential anxiety, are something many of us experience, and perhaps they become a little more prominent as we navigate this wonderful chapter of our lives. Now, I know the word anxiety can sound a bit alarming, but please don't let it scare you. Think of it more as a natural human experience, a kind of stirring within us as we contemplate the deeper aspects of being alive. It's not necessarily a sign that something is wrong, but rather it can be a sign that we're thinking, we're reflecting, we're engaging with the world in a meaningful way. After all, we've lived rich and full lives, haven't we? We've seen a lot, we've learned a lot, and it's only natural that we might pause to consider what it all means as we move forward. Perhaps the pace of life has shifted a little. Maybe the kids are grown and have families of their own. Perhaps retirement has brought a change in routine, a different rhythm to your days. These transitions, while often welcome and filled with new opportunities, can also bring about moments of reflection on our place in the world, our contributions, and what the future holds. It's like standing at a crossroads, looking back at the path we've traveled and wondering about the road ahead. In this video, we're going to gently explore this idea of existential anxiety. We'll talk about what it is, why it might be showing up in our lives right now, and most importantly, we'll look at some practical ways to navigate these feelings, not by pushing them away, but by understanding them and finding a sense of peace and purpose as we continue to live fully and vibrantly. We're not going to delve into complicated philosophical theories today, don't worry. Instead, we're going to focus on real, everyday things we can do to feel grounded, connected, and at ease, even when those big questions surface. So, let's start with the first thing that can really help when we're feeling this way: acknowledging the feeling itself. Sometimes, just naming what we're experiencing can take away some of its power. Instead of letting that vague sense of unease bubble away in the background, we can say to ourselves, this might be a touch of that existential questioning. It's like identifying a familiar tune. Once you know what it is, it doesn't feel so mysterious anymore. Don't judge yourself for having these thoughts. It's a testament to your depth and your capacity for reflection. Think of it as your inner philosopher taking a stroll. Now, once we've acknowledged the feeling, what can we do with it? Well, one powerful approach is to reconnect with the things that give our lives meaning. And for each of us, that's going to be something beautifully unique. Think back to the times in your life when you felt most engaged, most alive, most like yourself. What were you doing? Who were you with? What values were being expressed? Perhaps it was nurturing your family, pursuing a passion like gardening or painting, helping others in your community, or simply enjoying the beauty of nature. These sources of meaning don't disappear as we get older, though they might evolve. Maybe you're not chasing a demanding career anymore, but you have the joy of watching your grandchildren grow. Perhaps you're not as physically active as you once were, but you can share your wisdom and experience with others. The key is to actively cultivate these connections to meaning in your life right now. Think about what brings you joy, what makes you feel useful, what connects you to something larger than yourself. Maybe it's volunteering at a local charity, sharing stories and recipes with your family, spending time in nature, pursuing a creative hobby you've always wanted to try, or even just having a heartfelt conversation with a friend. These seemingly small things can be incredibly powerful anchors, grounding us in the present and reminding us of the value we bring to the world and the value the world brings to us. It's about finding those threads of purpose that are still vibrant and weaving them into the fabric of your daily life. Don't underestimate the power of simple acts of kindness or the joy of witnessing a small miracle, like a flower blooming or a child's laughter. These moments can be profound reminders of the beauty and wonder of life, even amidst those bigger questions. Another helpful approach is to focus on what you can control. Existential anxiety can sometimes stem from feeling overwhelmed by the vastness of the universe and our relatively small place in it. We can't control the big questions, the mysteries of life and death, but we absolutely can control our daily actions, our immediate environment, and how we choose to spend our time and energy. Think about creating a sense of order and comfort in your surroundings. A tidy home, a well-tended garden, a comfortable reading nook. These things can provide a sense of stability and peace. Focus on your daily routines, the small rituals that bring structure to your day. Perhaps it's enjoying a cup of tea at a certain time, taking a walk in the morning, or spending time reading before bed. These routines can be incredibly grounding, creating a sense of predictability and control in a world that sometimes feels unpredictable. Furthermore, consider focusing on your physical well-being. Nourishing your body with healthy food, getting enough rest, and engaging in gentle exercise can have a significant impact on your emotional state. When we feel physically well, we're often better equipped to handle emotional challenges. It's about taking care of the vessel that carries us through life. Even small improvements in these areas can make a big difference in how you feel overall. Think of it as building a strong foundation for your emotional well-being. Now, we've touched on acknowledging the feeling, reconnecting with meaning, and focusing on what you can control. Let's move on to another important aspect of navigating existential anxiety: connecting with others. Humans are social creatures, and strong connections with family and friends are vital for our well-being at any age. When we feel isolated or alone, those big questions can feel even heavier. Think about nurturing your existing relationships and perhaps even exploring new ones. Reach out to loved ones, schedule regular phone calls or visits, and share your thoughts and feelings with people you trust. Sometimes, just talking things through with someone who cares can make a world of difference. They might not have all the answers, but their support and understanding can be incredibly comforting. Consider joining groups or activities that align with your interests. Whether it's a book club, a gardening group, a senior center, or a volunteer organization, these connections can provide a sense of belonging and shared purpose. It's a chance to meet new people, learn new things, and feel like you're part of something larger than yourself. Sharing experiences and building friendships can be a powerful antidote to feelings of isolation and can provide new perspectives on life's big questions. Remember, you have a wealth of experience and wisdom to share, and connecting with others allows you to both give and receive support. So, we've started our journey into understanding and navigating existential anxiety by looking at acknowledging the feeling, reconnecting with sources of meaning, focusing on what we can control, and the importance of connecting with others. These are all foundational steps, ways to build a strong inner and outer support system that can help us feel more grounded and at peace. And as we continue in the next part, we'll delve into some more strategies for embracing this natural human experience and finding a sense of serenity and purpose as we move through this rich and meaningful stage of life. We were just talking about some really important ways to navigate those big questions and feelings that can sometimes surface, what we're calling existential anxiety. We explored the power of simply acknowledging these feelings, reconnecting with the things that give our lives meaning, focusing on what we can control in our daily lives, and the vital role that connecting with others plays in our well-being. These are all foundational pieces of the puzzle, helping us to feel more anchored and supported as we navigate these deeper reflections. Now, let's move on to another aspect that can be incredibly helpful: embracing uncertainty. This might sound a little counterintuitive, especially when anxiety often stems from a desire for clarity and certainty. But think about it. Life is inherently uncertain, isn't it? We don't have all the answers, and perhaps we never will. Trying to force certainty where it doesn't exist can actually increase our anxiety. Instead, what if we could learn to make peace with the unknown? What if we could cultivate a sense of curiosity about the mysteries of life, rather than feeling threatened by them? This isn't about giving up on seeking understanding, but rather about accepting that some questions might remain unanswered, and that's okay. Think about the natural world. It's full of wonders we don't fully comprehend, yet we can still appreciate its beauty and complexity. Perhaps we can approach the bigger questions of existence with a similar sense of awe and acceptance. One way to practice embracing uncertainty is to focus on the present moment. When we're caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the unknown. But the present moment, right here and right now, is something we can experience directly. Engage your senses. Notice the warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of your tea, the sound of the birds outside. Mindfulness practices, even simple ones like taking a few deep breaths, and focusing on your senses can help us ground ourselves in the present and lessen the grip of anxious thoughts about the future or the past. Think about it like this. You're on a long journey, and you can't see the entire path ahead. You could spend the whole journey worrying about what's around the next bend, or you could focus on enjoying the scenery along the way, the feel of the road beneath your feet, and the companionship of those traveling with you. Embracing uncertainty is about choosing to focus on the journey itself, rather than getting stuck on the unknown destination. Another powerful tool in navigating existential anxiety is finding ways to express yourself creatively. This might sound like a suggestion for artists or musicians, but it's really for everyone. Creativity is about tapping into your inner world and bringing something new into being, whether it's a painting, a poem, a song, a story, a garden, or even a well-cooked meal. It's about giving form to your thoughts and feelings in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to you. When we're grappling with big questions, expressing ourselves creatively can be a way to process those feelings without necessarily having to find all the answers. The act of creation itself can be incredibly therapeutic and can provide a sense of release and understanding. You might find that through painting, you can express a feeling that words can't quite capture, or that writing in a journal helps you to clarify your thoughts and find new perspectives. Don't worry about being good at it. This isn't about creating a masterpiece for others to admire. It's about the process itself and what it does for you. Experiment with different forms of expression and see what resonates. Maybe you enjoy the tactile sensation of working with clay, or the rhythm of playing a musical instrument, or the satisfaction of tending to a garden and watching things grow. These activities can be incredibly grounding and can provide a healthy outlet for exploring complex emotions. It's about finding a way to let your inner world find its voice. Now, let's talk about the importance of finding your own personal meaning and purpose, especially as we navigate this stage of life. We touched on this earlier when we talked about reconnecting with sources of meaning, but it's worth exploring in a bit more detail. Sometimes, the things that gave our lives purpose in earlier years, like raising a family or building a career, might shift or change. This can leave us feeling a bit adrift, wondering what our role is now. But this time of life can also be an opportunity to redefine our purpose, to explore new avenues of meaning that are perhaps more aligned with who we are now and what we value. Think about what truly matters to you at this stage of your life. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to spend your time and energy? Perhaps your purpose now lies in sharing your wisdom and experience with younger generations. Maybe it's about becoming more involved in your community and contributing in new ways. It could be about deepening your spiritual connection or exploring new intellectual pursuits. It might simply be about cultivating joy and appreciation for the everyday moments and nurturing your relationships with loved ones. Finding your purpose doesn't have to be about making grand gestures or achieving great feats. It can be about the small, consistent actions you take each day that bring you a sense of fulfillment and connection. It's about living in alignment with your values and contributing to the world in a way that feels meaningful to you, no matter how small it might seem. Think of it as finding your unique rhythm in this new chapter and dancing to it with grace and intention. And finally, let's consider the power of acceptance. Acceptance isn't about giving up or resigning yourself to unhappiness. It's about acknowledging reality, including the parts that might be uncomfortable or challenging. When we resist or fight against things we can't change, we often create more suffering for ourselves. Existential anxiety, with its big questions and uncertainties, is a part of the human experience. Trying to eliminate it entirely might be like trying to stop the tide. Instead, what if we could learn to accept it as a natural part of being human, a sign of our capacity for thought and reflection? Acceptance can bring a sense of peace and freedom. When we stop struggling against the reality of uncertainty and the big questions of life, we can free up energy to focus on what truly matters, living fully and meaningfully in the present moment. It's about saying, yes, these questions are here, and I don't have all the answers, and that's okay. I can still find joy and purpose in my life. Think about accepting the natural transitions that come with age. Our bodies might change, our roles might shift, but this doesn't diminish our value or our capacity for happiness. Acceptance allows us to embrace these changes with grace and to focus on the strengths and opportunities that still exist. It's about finding peace not in having all the answers, but in living fully within the questions. So, we've added to our toolkit for navigating existential anxiety by exploring the importance of embracing uncertainty, finding creative outlets for expression, redefining personal meaning and purpose in this stage of life, and the transformative power of acceptance. These are all ways to cultivate a more peaceful and resilient inner landscape as we continue to explore the depths of our experience. And as we move into our final part, we'll bring these ideas together and consider how we can integrate them into our daily lives to foster a lasting sense of comfort and well-being. We've been on a really thoughtful journey together, exploring this idea of existential anxiety, those big questions and feelings that can sometimes surface, especially as we navigate this rich and reflective time of life. We've talked about acknowledging the feeling itself, reconnecting with sources of meaning, focusing on what we can control, the importance of connecting with others, embracing uncertainty, finding creative outlets, redefining our personal meaning and purpose, and the power of acceptance. These are all valuable tools, and now we're going to talk about how we can weave these ideas together into our daily lives to cultivate a lasting sense of comfort and well-being. One of the most important things to remember is that navigating existential anxiety is not about finding a quick fix or a permanent solution. It's more like tending to a garden. It requires ongoing attention, patience, and a gentle touch. There will be days when those big questions feel more pressing than others, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to have these tools at hand and to know how to use them when you need them. Think about creating a kind of personal toolkit for yourself. What are the things that consistently bring you a sense of peace, connection, or purpose? Maybe it's spending time in nature, listening to music, engaging in a hobby, talking to a specific friend or family member, or practicing mindfulness. Identify these anchors in your life and make a conscious effort to incorporate them into your daily or weekly routines. These are the things that can help ground you when you're feeling a bit untethered. It's also helpful to cultivate a sense of self-compassion. When those feelings of unease arise, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to feel like we should have all the answers or that we shouldn't be feeling this way. But remember, these are natural human experiences. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a dear friend who was going through a similar experience. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment and remind yourself that you're not alone in asking these big questions. Think about it like this. If you were learning a new skill, you wouldn't expect to be perfect right away. You'd allow yourself time to practice and make mistakes. Navigating existential feelings is a similar process. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and don't get discouraged if you have moments of doubt or uncertainty. It's all part of the journey. Another important aspect is to find healthy ways to manage stress. While existential anxiety isn't the same as everyday stress, they can certainly overlap and exacerbate each other. Practices like gentle exercise, deep breathing, meditation, or spending time in nature can help to calm your nervous system and create a greater sense of inner peace. Find what works for you and make it a regular part of your self-care routine. When your overall stress levels are lower, you'll likely find it easier to navigate those deeper questions with a sense of calm. Remember also the power of storytelling and reflection. This stage of life often provides us with the opportunity to look back on our experiences and make sense of our journey. Sharing your stories with loved ones, writing in a journal, or even just spending time in quiet contemplation can help you to integrate your past, understand your present, and perhaps even gain new perspectives on those big existential questions. Your life experiences hold a wealth of wisdom, and reflecting on them can be a source of strength and insight. And finally, don't hesitate to seek support if you're finding these feelings overwhelming. Talking to a therapist, counselor, or spiritual advisor can provide a safe and supportive space to explore these questions and develop coping strategies. Sometimes, having an objective perspective can be incredibly helpful in navigating complex emotions and finding a path forward. There's no shame in seeking help. In fact, it's a sign of strength and self-awareness. So, as we bring our conversation to a close, I want to leave you with a message of hope and encouragement. Experiencing existential anxiety doesn't have to be a burden. It can actually be a catalyst for growth, for deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us, and for finding a renewed sense of purpose and meaning in this chapter of our lives. Think of it as an invitation to explore the depths of your own being, to reflect on what truly matters to you, and to embrace the beauty and mystery of life with open eyes and an open heart. You have a lifetime of wisdom and experience to draw upon, and you have the capacity to navigate these feelings with grace and resilience. Remember to be kind to yourself, to nurture your connections, to find joy in the everyday moments, and to keep exploring what gives your life meaning. The answers to the big questions might not always be clear, but the journey of seeking them, the process of reflection and growth, can be incredibly enriching and fulfilling. I truly hope this conversation has been helpful and has offered you some practical ways to approach these important questions. I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What resonates with you? What helps you when you're pondering these big ideas? Sharing your insights can be incredibly valuable to others who might be going through something similar. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're here to support each other on this journey of life, at every age and stage. And remember, you are valuable, you are wise, and your experiences matter. Embrace this time, continue to connect, continue to create, and continue to live fully. Here's to finding peace and purpose as we navigate the beautiful and sometimes mysterious landscape of life. Take care, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.